Hello and welcome. This is Ehsan Ashfaq, and today I'm going to discuss a very important thing, that is paper attempting methodology. I found a common problem nowadays that students normally complain that they have attempted the paper very well, but the marks are not according to their expectations. This is actually because of some basic mistakes done by the students. So in this lecture, I will try to highlight those basic mistakes and provide you with a basic guideline for attempting the paper. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing you need to do when you get the question paper is you need to distribute your paper timing. So remember these four things. You need to keep 85% of the time for solving your questions, which you need to solve in your question paper. 5% of the time for checking the paper. 5% of the time for making paper look good, for that lining and all these things. And 5% of the time for completing the incomplete questions. So if you have a paper of 3 hours, that is 180 minutes. So according to this distribution, 153 minutes will be reserved for your question solving, and remaining 9 minutes will be for checking paper, 9 minutes for making the paper look good, and 9 minutes for the completing the remaining questions. So this is very important. You need to distribute. The next thing you need to do is that you need to calculate the time that should be spent on each question. Now that has a very simple formula, that for example, if you have a paper in which the total marks are 100, and if you have a time of 2 hours or maybe 3 hours, let's take the example of 2 hours. So 2 hours contain 120 minutes. So you need to find out that how much time you can spend for a single mark. So the formula is very simple. You need to divide the total minutes by the total marks. So as we have the 120 minutes in case of the 2 hour of paper and 100 marks, so 120 divided by 100 gives you 1.2. So for a single mark, you can spend 1.2 minutes. So in this way, you can calculate the time for the complete question. And let's say if you have a question of 10 marks, so the total time you need to spend on that question is 12 minutes, because you multiply 10 by 1 with 1.2, you get 12 minutes. So in this way, you need to calculate the time that you can spend on each question. Okay, let's move forward. So what if you are not able to complete that question within the stipulated time? So in this situation, what you need to do, you need to just leave it. Do not spend extra time, because it will disturb the overall time distribution of your paper. So you need to just leave it, leave some space in your sheet, jump to the next question, and repeat the same procedure for next question. So at the end of the paper, if you remember, we have reserved 5% of the time for the remaining questions. So in that 5% of the time, you will be able to complete this current question. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so some more general guidelines. Read the whole paper without thinking for answers. Like mostly what the student do, they get disturbed at the very start for the questions whose answer they don't know. So you just need not to worry about them, and you just need to go through the paper without worrying about the answers if you know them or not. From beginning to end, start solving question in ascending order of their complexity. Now that is something very basic. You need to solve the question which you know the best first, and then you will move forward, so that, because always remember that first impression is the last impression. If your initial few questions are good and are attempted in a proper way, with beautiful handwriting and in a neat and clean way, you have a high probability of getting a very good marks. Okay, never use a red color in paper, because red color is mostly reserved for paper checkers, but you may use more than one color for clarity and beautification of your paper. Write neat and clear. Use good English, and if possible, use words which are not so common, and keep a rhythmic and poetic flow. Now, that is something for which you need high skills in English and vocabulary and all these things. So I'll recommend you to keep things simple and use simple English which is understandable, because The more the paper is simple, the better the chance of not making a mistake. Because it's better to use simple English than to use some difficult words and make mistakes in your paper. In case of large font size, don't fill the adjacent lines, use alternate lines. So that's something very basic again. Okay, now the next thing is very important and a very common thing. What if you don't know the answer of the question, or you are unable to understand the question at all? Now, in this situation, you need to do a few basic things. The first one is try to get idea from the words given in the question and explain them separately. If you don't understand the complete sentence, try to get the idea from the words in the sentence. Discuss whatever idea you have related to the topic. Even if you can't do this, discuss topic that is close enough to the given topic. And even if you are unable to do this, discuss the topic you know the best. Okay, now I'm going to explain this with the help of an example. Consider this question. The question states, discuss the performance of Shahid Afridi in the context of the controversies that has been around him in the PSL 2017. Also discuss the effect of captaincy on his batting and his ambiguous and harsh statement recently on the media against the owner of the franchise. Now, what if, consider a situation that you are unable to get the basic idea or the overall idea of this question. Now go back to the previous slide. In this situation, what you need to do, first of all, try to get idea from the words given in the question and explain them separately. Now there may be some words about which you have some information. For example, Shahid Afridi is written in this question, or maybe PSL 2017. Now you may not be able to understand the whole question, but you may be able to write something about Shahid Afridi, or you may have awareness of the Pakistan Super League, which is currently being played. So you will be able to write on that. If you are unable to do this, discuss whatever idea you have related to the topic. This is the second possibility. So whatever you have in mind about the batting of the Shahid Afridi or his current statement or media or anything, you can write that. If you are not able to do that, discuss the closest topic matching to the given topic. Now, anything that matches. For example, if you don't know about the performance of the Shahid Afridi in the PSL 2017, you may discuss the his performance in the PSL 2016 or any other series which is played somewhere near PSL 2017. Okay. And the last thing, discuss the topic you know the best. If you even can't do that, which I have just described, you need to discuss anything about the cricket, as at least you know from this statement that this is just some talking about the cricket. So just discuss anything about the cricket. But the basic thing or the basic idea which I want to give you is that you just cannot leave the question. You have to attempt the question one way or the other. Answer the question if you know. If you don't know, answer something close to the question. Or if you even can't do that, discuss anything you know about the topic discussed in the question. But you cannot leave the question. Okay? So let's move forward. Okay, so these are some basic things. Don't bring the fresh pen. Use it at least for 1 or 2 pages before bringing it to the exam. That is for the purpose of make sure that you have a smooth handwriting in the paper. Take proper sleep. You must be fresh while entering the examination hall. Mostly I have seen the students study the whole night before the paper, and then when they enter the examination hall, they are often very disturbed and sleepy. So this is not good. This may affect your performance. Bring chocolate or juice with yourself, and don't let the sugar level down. That is very important. And make sure that you keep on taking water so that you do not get dehydrated. Take proper breakfast, but don't take heavy meal, because you may become dull with the heavy meal. Don't leave the examination hall before the end of the time. Just if you are able to attempt the paper before the stipulated time ends, you need to revise it. You need to make it beautiful. You need to give the headings, or you need to spend time on the beautification of the paper, but don't leave the house before the actual time is ended. Okay, use maximum headings. That's something which is very attractive for the paper checkers, and so you should try to use maximum heading. Make list of items for paper before exam and each time while going to examination hall. Be cooperative to the staff and keep silence. Neither take nor provide any type of cheating. Well, that's something which is your basic responsibility. And well, that's it. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best for your papers. And if you have any other question or any confusion about how to attempt the paper, please write me down in the comment. I will try my best to answer them, and I hope the tutorial was helpful for you. Please subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, for further tutorials. Thank you very much. God bless you.